Got your water, you got your hydrated, feeling good?
Yeah, I got everything I need.
Awesome,
Give me
awesome.
an
Because we're about to be
answer.
talking about testing grounds. So
Oh
this is
yeah.
this is going to be a good one. So testing grounds will be launching with the launch of the Demon Dagger on
Alright,
September
buddy.
15th, going all the way until September 22nd. So you've got a nice
Would you like
long
some
week
milk?
to go ahead and
Yeah,
test
that's
out
what I
all of the
thought.
changes. And JC, we're actually doing some pretty interesting changes. We're doing 2 reworks and then a combat change. So go ahead and walk us through it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're doing a rework for Valkyrie, a rework for Tiandi, and also we're testing out some changes to counter Guardbreak. See how that feels.
Falcon Tiandi.
Super hyped for it, so it should be really, really interesting.
Same here. So we've been doing something a little bit different with our testing ground segments on the den. JC and Alex have created a video showcasing the reworks, going in depth with them, talking about them, and we're gonna go ahead and let that roll, and then we'll come back, give our final thoughts, and continue on with the show. So JC, you ready?
Yep.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Let's see
so
this
today we're going
Valk.
to be looking at changes that are coming to the testing grounds. We're going to have Valkyrie changes, Tiandi changes, and counter Guardbreak changes. So first up, we're going to start with Valkyrie. So Valkyrie is one of our older heroes. She doesn't have that much offense. A lot of her stuff can be dodged on one timing. Sweep doesn't really work. And so we're really trying to give her better openers, and also to give her better pressure and offense in general. And for that, we're going to start with Shield Crush and Shield Tackle. So we've actually removed Shield Crush in this testing rounds and replaced it with Shield Tackle. And you can no longer do Shield Tackle from back dodge, right? So right now I just did back dodge and guard break. You can't do it anymore from this, but you can now do it from front dodge.
Oh.
So if you do heavy, you can soft feint into Shield Tackle. You can do zone, soft feint into Shield Tackle. Wait, it didn't work there. There we go. So everywhere where you could use Shield Crush, you can now use Shield Tackle instead. Shield Tackle also now guarantees a light when it lands. It still blocks attacks like before. So if there we go. You can also now dodge out of it, so that gives you a little bit more defensive options.
All right.
So that's quite interesting. And what's also cool with it is that now we have a new kind of mix-up that we've never really had before, which is if your opponent thinks that you're going to shield tackle, they can just guard break and to try to beat your shield tackle attempt, right? There you go. So that works. But if I let my heavy go and they attempt a guard break, my heavy is going to land instead. So we're really trying to do something a little bit different here that has more impact on Valkyrie, gives her a better reason to use shield tackle. And it's kind of like using maybe like a charge attack as a soft feint or something. So it's kind of interesting.
I don't know how I feel about this.
And it
It's
really
unique,
pushes a attack while you're defending and defend while you're attacking mindset that we really wanted to have for Valkyrie. That's super different. It feels really cool. I can't wait for people to try it out. And other thing to know is that, as usual, that light that you have here,
that sweep is much faster.
Everything basically counts as a second hit in the chain. So using that, you can really go into your sweep a lot more often and have those mix-ups work quite well. So speaking of sweep, it is now 500 milliseconds instead of 6.
Okay.
Should make it a lot less reactable. Should work quite much better. It no longer unbalances allies or multiple opponents, so it only really unbalances the character you are locked onto. We made that change because we have to choose between one or the other, and unbalancing allies made so that ganking when you're using sweep was much more difficult because you risked unbalancing your friends and your allies, and then they couldn't get guaranteed damage on top of it, so that made a difference here. And last but not least, the sweep follow-up is now frame advantage, right? So now if I mash light, and my opponent mashes light, see, as you see here, I was able to hit them almost on the way coming back up. They can still block, right? So if I go a top light here...
He's not doing the finisher,
it's still blockable, but I have frame advantage. So it lets Valkyrie really, really keep the offense up. Using sweep in 1v1 situations will really, really help you. And keeping that frame advantage really helps Valkyrie in this position.
Does
then
the
we have
sweep do damage, or is he just not doing the follow-up?
So Bouncing Thrust has more range now, a lot more range.
Enhanced.
So that's quite good. And they're now all enhanced as well. So as you see here, like that's really, like, you're only going to get interrupted on block. Lets Valkyrie really go further into her chains. Be able to sweep, really initiate a lot more. Her side dodge lights, so Pouncing Thrusts now have more forward movement as well. So they used to be quite bad. I didn't really hit forward much. She didn't really move a lot. So with this, you really have a lot more forward movement. They also have more side movement, right? So if you do it like this, She moves more to the side, so that's good.
Better iframes.
And they also now have proper iframes. It's kind of hard to show here, but the idea is that with those iframes, let's go like this, yeah. It makes it a lot easier for you to be able to dodge and properly do dodge attacks with this in group fights and all.
Even though he's dodging late as possible in this, but
then we have something for attacks. So all of our heavy attacks have more forward movement now. It doesn't really show, but one of the big things that used to happen is if you did a side light, a left light into heavy feint to Guardbreak, it wouldn't work. You couldn't catch people because they didn't have enough forward movement. So now that those heavies have more forward movement, you reach forward a lot more.
Okay.
You're able to target swap, hit more opponents, works quite well. We've also updated all the trajectories on our side heavies, both neutral, chained, and finishers, to be able to hit external opponents much better. We've also slowed down the top light and chains and our finishers to 500 ms, right? So they used to be 4. So these used to be 400 ms, and the problem that we run into this is that at low level, 400 ms lights are really, really hard to work with. Already 500 are a little bit hard to react to for a lot of players. And we want players to at least have a chance to be able to block sometimes, right?
that sucks.
But then when they're 400, it's a lot harder. And then at high level, the players are good enough that they're able to block top. And then if it's a side, they react and block the side. And if it's not a side, they just keep blocking top and they still block it. So that didn't work either. So with everything at 500, it incentivizes Valkyrie to do more heavies, do more into the shield tackle type of things, but still be able to use them and not be as frustrating at low level. Last but not least, in terms of attacks, we've also normalized recoveries of all of our chain attacks to be between 700 and 800 ms everywhere. It's a bit of a quality of life change, but it really helps Valkyrie be a little bit more safe in group.
Oh, come on.
So the trajectory for the first step for zone attack is now 500 ms instead of 6.
Okay.
So that makes a big difference. It makes it a lot more usable. And we've also updated the trajectories for both hits. Again, so they match the weapon better. You can hit more people externally and have a lot more control over fights with this. And finally, the last change we want to look at Valkyrie is
zone is faster.
Which is a sprint attack. So Valkyrie's sprint attack now initiates chains. So you can go Hunter's Rush into
That's
heavy,
a good change.
This, and so you can do all sorts of stuff with it. So
that's going to be
really
such a
helps
crazy
initiate
change.
When out of lock, a lot better.
The shield thing.
Using your sprint attack to get into her chains and let her initiate some more. So that's it for Valkyrie. Next up, we're going to look at Tiandi. Okay.
Only thing you'll miss there, guys, is the
let's
zone
look at
sped up.
Tiandi, right? So for Tiandi, we really want to focus on the dodge specialist aspect of the hero, as well as improving the hero's offense. Like Tiandi had like some limited dodge cancels here and there. It really didn't live up to the dodge specialist thing.
Oh.
And on top of that, his offense was a little bit lacking. It was difficult to open up people and get into the groove and really have proper offense with the hero. So we're looking at those two main aspects. So first up, we have flow like water, basically recovery cancels. So Tiandi can now recovery cancel every single attack into a dodge at 300 ms, right? So you can do light into a dodge. You can do heavy into another heavy into a dodge if you want. You can even do it off of like Palm Strike or Dragon Kick that we're going to look into a little bit later. So essentially, we really wanted to have Tiandi be able to really, really be a good specialist into having dodge cancels. They're a little bit slower than other dodge cancels. They're being at 3, Pirate and Orochi are at 2, and Xanu is at 3, 3, 3. So we're really trying to like find a little different common ground for these, but this is really interesting. Works quite well and gives a lot of interesting things. Next up, we have Palm Strike. So Palm Strike used to be on Backwalk and Guardbreak. We've actually now put it on Front Dodge Guardbreak instead. The reason for that being that at low level, the back Guardbreak attacks are a little bit problematic because they're really hard to react to at low level, but they're also fully reactable at high level. And so that makes them not very good. They're okay as interrupt tools, kind of, but not really. So we really wanted to have it to be in a much more standardized position. So from front dodge Guardbreak works quite well. And the other cool thing with that is that because it's now in front dodge, you can do interesting mix-ups like dodge cancels your attack into palm strike, reset your chain, keep going to what you have. So Tiandi really, really goes much further with this. It might look like a strange change for some, but we really feel that having that off of that dodge really, really opens up Tiandi quite a bit. We've also removed the unique follow-up it had. So when you do, when you do Palm Strike used to have a heavy follow-up that was armored, top only. You could target swap, but it was a bit weird. And the problem with that move was that because it had like strange properties where it couldn't be parried. If the Palm Strike landed and you did that heavy against your opponent, the opponent that the Palm Strike landed on, that attack was unparryable. So that was kind of hard to read. And the other real niche move that it had was that it could kind of trade with dodge attacks if somebody was doing a dodge attack against your Palm Strike, for example. But because you now have access to both dodge cancels here, if you want to dodge attack somebody who dodged it, then you can do that.
Okay.
You can also, if you still want that armor somewhere, you can dodge cancel a dodge for it heavy, which still has armor. So you can do palm, target swap, dodge for it heavy, and do all that sort of thing. So that still works quite well. So we really felt like that specific attack was no longer necessary, as it forced Tiandi down a very, very specific path that we didn't want. And the last thing that we have with Palm Strike is that actually it now leads to heavy finishers that you can change your stances to as well. So you can do like a left heavy finisher, right heavy finisher, same for lights. So now you can actually do this and hit somebody on the side with a trajectory if you like. Whereas before that was completely impossible.
That might have some weird
so we really
external,
want to give, Tiandi a lot more
confirms.
viability in those outnumbered
Interesting.
situations. Be able to use those side heavy finishers.
Like you might be able to palm
people
strike the
externally
person you're fighting and then aim a heavy finisher at like another
so next
opponent
up we
like
have
next to
Dragon
him.
Kick, right?
And
So
might
Dragon Kick
confirm that
was
heavy.
a bit of a weird move in that, yeah, you could kind of ledge with it. You can like push somebody into a wall and maybe get a follow up. Maybe luckily get it, like land a kick on somebody, lands next one of your allies, they get a heavy on him. But it's still, like in most situations, it was actually better for the defender to just get hit by the Dragon Kick or react to Kensei doing, to Tiandi rather, doing a soft feint dodge or whatever. So we've done two things to really help remedy this, right? So Dragon Kick can now be feinted. So you can just straight up feint Dragon Kick and go for a Guardbreak if you'd like to catch.
Oh, it's a
dodge attack.
fast one.
And it also now a dedicated follow-up on heavy attack.
Ooh.
So that every time you do land a Dragon Kick, you do get a heavy attack
Ooh.
afterwards. So now there's
That would
an
be
actual
really
incentive for your opponent to actually want to try to deal with it and do something instead of
That
just
might be
taking it,
strong.
just taking no damage or very, very low damage. So we really tried to get Dragon Kick to be a much more threatening move for Tiandi. And then we now have side dragon dodges. So they used to be 1100 MS, so that's super slow. They couldn't, like, it was really difficult to really punish bashes and like faster attacks with side dragon dodges, side dodge heavies, for example, because the problem that we started having is that because it's so slow, a lot of bashes could just miss. You would do that move, and then your opponent will be able to block in time almost every single time. With them being faster, they're now 800 MS, so they should be able to catch a lot more bashes when you dodge them at the right timing. But to do that, we also remove the extended dodge properties because it's faster. Having extended dodge properties on that move is kind of crazy. You were able to like side dodge quite a bit. It was super, super strong. We've also lowered the side movement a little bit. It's still good, but it's a little bit less. But as Alex in front of me was graciously playing with me right now to show you the changes, showed you can still soft feint it right into a dodge.
You just gotta like
and you can
spam
still
it.
feint the attack as well. So it's not like the move changed a little bit. You can still use it in a lot of situations, but it should now be actually useful at beating bashes. And like we've seen, you can do like really, really crazy shenanigans where you do side dodge heavy, into a front dodge palm, into a lot of stuff. So again, this really opens up Tiandi quite a bit to do a lot of crazy, interesting shenanigans
sped up.
and go there. So the last things we want to look at are quality of life changes on Tiandi. So first up is finishers on when you're out of lock are now side attacks. They used to be top, so you can do heavy there. So that should help Tiandi get a much better minion clear without having to resort to having like dodge cancels or sort of stuff. You can now go and just mash heavies on the side and be able to get better lane clearing abilities.
Okay.
We've also improved the trajectories for the side heavy finishers. It's kind of hard to show right now, but they're way better at catching external opponents. Again, they match the weapon better as well. So it's a big improvement there for Tiandi. And we've also removed all the stamina damage and stamina pauses on all of his bashes. So on Palm,
that's
on
good.
Dragon Kick, there's no longer stamina damage or pause. We also removed the stun on Dragon Kick because it didn't really do anything. So it's a lot of like small changes for quality of life.
These
and
are
then the
this is
other
actually a really good
changes which
rework idea
don't
they done
seem
for
like
him. It
much,
still kind of keeps
will
his
really,
identity.
really help the character feel a lot like have much better flow, better offense, better defense. So hopefully the character is gonna be much stronger in the future. So now we're gonna look at counter Guardbreak changes. All right, so now we're gonna look at counter Guardbreak changes finally. So we've done a small change where whenever you counter Guardbreak, you now have frame advantage for 1 frame, right? And we also push opponents a little bit less far. So I'm gonna Guardbreak Alex here. You can counter Guardbreak, right? So we're pushed a little bit less far, but also the person that did the counter Guardbreak has frame advantage for 1 frame.
I think this is
That
a
might
good
not
change.
seem like a big change, but what it does do is that, let's say I'm gonna Guardbreak Alex, he's gonna counter Guardbreak, and then I'm gonna mash Guardbreak, and he's gonna throw a heavy, and let's see what happens. See, so on live
That's
right now,
fantastic.
So you saw that I did a Guardbreak, I fully buffered it. My Guardbreak bounced, and the heavy landed, right? So what this does is that 1 frame of frame advantage lets your opponent, lets the person that did the counter Guardbreak, throw out anything but a light or a Guardbreak. You can do like other options, but basically the idea is that like right now on live, whenever somebody Guardbreaks, if your opponent counter Guardbreaks, the only thing either player can do is throw a light, because Guardbreak will catch anything else. It'll catch heavies, it'll catch dodges, it'll catch absolutely everything. And so it makes it that you end up becoming very predictable, and Guardbreak becomes a very good tool to really stop offense here. Whereas now, when you manage to successfully counter Guardbreak, you have more options. It doesn't mean that you don't get guaranteed damage or anything, but you have more options. It makes you less predictable, and so it doesn't make sure that you're always going to throw a light, that then you know it's a light, so you can always parry it, and you get into that route where, especially at a high level, Guardbreaks were becoming a problem, and people would just like mash Guardbreak all the time, and the only thing you could really do is either light or Guardbreak, and it didn't quite work. So with this change, you can really land heavies afterwards. You can do a lot of different things. And the other thing you can do is that you can do, we'll show it with Alex right now. If I throw a Guardbreak and he counter Guardbreaks, I'm going to try to back roll, and you'll see that he can mash Guardbreak to actually catch my back roll. So let's look at it this way.
Okay.
See, so I tried to back roll here, and his Guardbreak caught me.
I mean, that's
So
a
it
good
means
buff
that
for like Yorm.
It's much harder to also to defend yourself with a dodge or with different options after your opponent counters your Guardbreak. We did this so we want to have Guardbreak still be useful in the game, right? They're still very good. They still guarantee heavies. None of that changed. But we want it to be that there is a little bit of risk associated to it, and the person that actually successfully defended has a bit more of an advantage here. So that's going to be it for testing grounds. I really want to give a big shout out to Alex. Unfortunately, he can only be my body bag right now. So, but thank you very much. We had technical issues where he couldn't join the video with me and be on the audio call.
This is going to
He
be
graciously
such a
accepted to be
great
there with me
patch, dude.
So we can record this
Here in
session.
2
So
days.
Thank you, Alex. And we'll
so
see
much
you guys
stuff to
back
do.
into the Warriors then. Thank you.
And there we have it, JC. Thank you so much to you and Alex for being able to go through that. Everything looks super awesome. Do you have like any final thoughts that you want to share before we move on?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm super excited for people to try this out. I know we're trying new things with Valkyries that should be really interesting there, and the counter Guardbreak stuff too. And I'm really psyched for all of this stuff. I just want to say again, I mentioned it in the video, but I want to reiterate it. A big thank you to Alex. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues. He couldn't be with me on video and with audio when we were recording, but he was still in front of me fighting, and we were like talking to each other at the same time. So that was all good. So thanks very much, Alex, and I look forward to getting everybody's feedback.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, definitely. Feedback's
Everything.
gonna be
I like
extremely
both
part of
these testing ground
as
changes.
It always is.
The Valk
We
one
are
is
gonna be
kind of
putting together a
strange, so
survey
we'll have to see
for the
on it.
testing
But
grounds. So once
the
it's up, just see it on
Tiandi
the
one
Reddit,
looks really
definitely Be sure
strong.
to get your thoughts in
good.
throughout the
Without
testing
having big
grounds, not just,
unblockables
at
aside
the
from the kick
beginning.
now.
We want to obviously see how your feedback progresses and stuff like that. So JC, Alex, thank you so much for going over
Tiandi is
the
going to be
testing
better
grounds.
than
Super excited
than,
for everyone to
Chow
try
in
and
at
change this out
ganking.
on September 15th. And you sitting in that chair or in the car or doing whatever. Don't go anywhere, because up next we'll be back with Brian and two very special guests.
I'm
for a
going
competitive
somewhere.
update. So
Bitch.